On July 25th at 6:54 p.m., Archangel Michael saw that you were about to sign something dangerous, that this agreement was meant to trap you. Open this before you make that mistake. My beloved child, you were just moments away from making a move that would have changed everything, but not in the way you hoped. At 6:54 p.m. on July 25th, Archangel Michael stood between you and a snare. Heaven saw what you couldn't. That paper, that deal, that opportunity wasn't truly a blessing. It was a trap. A spiritual agreement hidden behind smiles and promises. If you had signed it, it would have shifted the course of your path, tying your destiny to something dark, something deceptive. You've prayed for breakthrough. You've asked for doors to open. But not every open door is from God. Some doors are disguised cages. The enemy sometimes sends offers that look divine, but carry chains in fine print. This is why this message is reaching you now. Heaven is intervening, urgently and directly, because time is short and your decision is near. Michael didn't just observe this danger. He stood in front of it. He deflected the spirit trying to manipulate your agreement. Someone close to you, or perhaps working with you, isn't telling the full truth. They had another motive. Your intentions are not what they appear. God sent this message to expose it, protect you, and redirect your feet to safety. Before your hand reaches that pen, heaven says, pause. That contract, business deal, partnership, or even verbal yes could spiritually entangle you. It could limit your future blessings. It could reroute your divine path. God is not silent. He is shouting to your spirit. Don't make that move until you listen. This is not a message of fear. It's a message of protection. The angels are surrounding you now, whispering clarity, discernment, and strength. You've asked for signs. This is one. The fact that you're hearing this now is proof you are chosen. You are seen. You are fiercely protected by heaven. Michael is drawing his sword and holding back what tried to deceive you. He is uncovering papers that held hidden curses. His sword of light is now burning away the lies in fine print. You must stay alert, beloved. Listen deeply. Something that looked like the answer to your prayers was actually designed to become your prison. But you are not alone, and you are not without power. This entire spiritual realm is shifting to help you realign. You've been given access to the warning before the mistake. Now heaven is watching to see what you do next. Will you rush? Or will you pause and discern? God has something better, something real, something pure. But you must walk away from what is false to receive what is true. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7744. You've been praying for change. You've waited for breakthrough. You've asked me to open a door that would finally lead to something better. And now, something has shown up. It looks like the answer. It sounds like the answer. But child, I need you to pause. Because what you're about to walk into is not what it seems. This agreement, this deal, this offer you're considering is more than it appears. In the natural, it looks like success. But in the spirit, it is a snare. The enemy has carefully crafted this moment to look like favor, but it is actually a silent trap. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. Archangel Michael stood alert the moment this was being formed. He saw what you could not. This was not just paperwork. This was a covenant disguised as business. A spiritual tie dressed up in opportunity. You were about to sign something that would have spiritually bound you to confusion, delay, and loss. The enemy loves to wrap his traps in light. He mimics the things you've asked me for. He imitates my promises. But the enemy cannot reproduce my peace. That's why you felt the tension. That's why your spirit paused. Because this wasn't divine. This wasn't me. I am allotted to get blessing 9,999. There is a person or group involved in this that carries darkness in their motives. They say the right things. They speak with excitement. But behind the scenes, they are thinking about how they can benefit at your expense. Their heart is not with you. Their words may sound sweet, but their spirit is bitter. They've been watching you closely. They know your calling. They know your anointing. They want to attach themselves to your favor without carrying your burden. That's why they made the offer sound so easy. But child, you weren't made for spiritual shortcuts. You were made for truth. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7,747. Michael stood in your timeline and blocked what was coming. He interfered before your signature reached the paper. Because the moment your hand moved, you would have given spiritual permission to the enemy. And once you open that door, it's hard to shut. That's why heaven intervened now. You've been worn down. I see it. You've been tired of waiting, tired of hoping. You wanted something to finally work. But the enemy knew that. He sent something that looks like light, but is rooted in shadow. That's how spiritual traps are built. Not through fear, but through fake hope. Type I am protected to get the blessing 5,288. This agreement was about to tie your voice. It was about to tie your time. Your gifts would have dried up slowly. You would have begun to feel blocked in ways you couldn't explain. And you would have asked me why. But it would have been too late. That's why I'm stopping you now. The person on the other side may not even know what they carry. Sometimes people enter agreements with darkness unknowingly. But whether they know it or not, the effect is the same. Chains. Confusion. Better. The fear. That is not how I move. I do not give gifts that come with chains. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 6,351. What I give brings peace. What I offer brings rest. The right door will not pressure you. The right people will not confuse you. The right opportunity will not drain your spirit. I want you to walk in freedom, not fear. So I'm asking you to let this one go. Don't let pride pull you back. Don't let pressure make you say yes. Walk away. Release it. I will bring the right thing in the right time. And when it comes, your spirit will leap. Your peace will confirm it. You won't feel fear. You'll feel me in it. I am chosen to get the blessing 5,823. The spirit behind this agreement was never sent by me. It came to catch you in a moment of weakness. The enemy waited until your heart was tired. You waited until your patience felt thin. Then he offered you a solution. It seemed good. It seemed like favor. But it was a copy, an imitation of what I truly planned. I never rush you into confusion. I don't open doors with prayer. My peace always walks ahead of me. But this situation, it came fast. It didn't let you breathe. That is not how I work. That is how the enemy creates a trap, with glitter, with urgency, with pressure. I am rising to get the blessing 7,132. Michael was not just watching from afar. He was assigned to intercept it. He stood between the paper and your promise. He saw the moment your name would have been pulled into something you were never meant to carry. Your spirit would have felt trapped. Your progress would have slowed. And even your prayers would have sounded quiet. That contract, whatever form it took, was not just physical. It was spiritual. Your name carries authority. Your words have power. So when you agree with something dark, even without knowing, it can still bind you. And the enemy wanted you to unknowingly hand over your yes. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 8029. But child, your spirit is sensitive. That uneasiness you felt wasn't fear, it was me. That sudden stop in your chest. That whisper saying wait. That moment where everything looked right but didn't feel right. That was my protection sounding the alarm in your soul. You didn't miss your blessing. You avoided a curse. You didn't ruin your chance. You protected your destiny. They may say you backed out. They may say you were unsure. But I say, you listened. You obeyed. And obedience is better than opportunity. Type I am anointed to get blessing 6488. They won't understand your decision. And that's okay. Not everyone will see what I've shown you. Some blessings are hidden. Some warnings are silent. But your spirit caught it. And that makes you wise. That makes you different. That makes you covered by divine favor. The wrong deal brings fast results, but long regret. The right deal may take longer, but it brings lasting peace. I want your future to be free, not stuck. And I will never build your future on top of a lie. What I have for you doesn't require compromise. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7555. You may feel like you're starting over, but you're not. You're starting right. You're stepping into clarity. You're walking in clean air. That is more valuable than any deal. You are not behind. You are aligned. You are not forgotten. You are being guided step by step. Michael didn't fight just to delay you. He fought to deliver you. He saw the enemy hiding behind the signature, and he refused to let that shadow touch your future. That's how loved you are. That's how important your next steps are in heaven's plan. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 6124. Now, stay awake. Stay prayerful. Watch everything that comes in the next few days. There may be another push from the same person. There may be more pressure. But don't fold. Don't go silent. You already said no in the spirit. Now say no with your words. And watch me open something greater. They cannot stop what I have written for you. No one can erase your name from the scroll I wrote it on. You belong to me. Your life is covered. Your future is not small. I'm still leading you. I'm still working. And I'm still speaking. If this word helped you stop and see the trap for what it truly was, then hear me one more time. Beloved, don't let it stop with you. When you sow into this message, you're not giving to a video. You're sowing into light. You're helping me reach someone else who's just seconds away from the wrong agreement. When you give, it becomes a river, flowing wisdom into places your hands may never touch. I will honor every seed sown with fresh discernment and protection over your path. I said in Isaiah 58:8, your light will break forth like the dawn, and I'm speaking that over you now. If I stirred your heart today, act on it. You super thanks. Become a channel member or give through the PayPal link in the video description. Do it boldly and expect harvest. This agreement was not just a paper, it was a gate the enemy planned to use to walk into your future without you even knowing. You thought it was a business deal. You thought it was a yes or no decision. But in the spiritual world, it was a door. And if you had said yes, it would have opened more than you imagined. That's why your sleep felt disturbed. That's why your mind felt confused. That's why something small kept bothering you about the offer, even when everything looked perfect. It was your spirit warning you, and it was Archangel Michael pressing into your atmosphere to protect you from what you couldn't see. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7707. There was a word spoken behind your back during this deal. Someone discussed your name with wrong motives. They didn't say it directly to you, but in secret. They made plans about how to benefit from your yes. And heaven heard every single word. Michael stood ready, sword in hand, to block the hidden intentions that came with the agreement. This wasn't just about you losing money. This was about losing your peace, losing your voice, losing your time. The enemy doesn't always destroy with fire. Sometimes he destroys with paperwork, with pressure, with decisions that feel rushed. But I step in when you pause to listen. And child, you paused. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 6642. They may have called it a blessing. They may have told you, don't miss this chance. But what they didn't know is that you are not driven by fear. You are led by faith. You have learned how to check with me before making moves. And that single decision, the act of checking in with heaven, save your next season. I want you to see this clearly. Your delay was divine. The silence you felt before making the decision wasn't emptiness. It was me giving you time to sense the truth. The reason you didn't feel peace, that was the clue. I speak through peace, not pressure. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 7491. Michael was not just present, he was active. He disturbed the timeline. He slowed down the conversation. He rearranged meetings. He brought interruptions that seemed random. But they weren't random at all. They were spiritual shields sent to hold you back from danger until you saw the truth. The agreement itself may still be offered to you again. They might come back with a better version. They may say they've revised the deal. But don't be fooled, beloved. What was rotten in the spirit cannot be fixed with better words. When something is born in dissection, it cannot become holy. Type I am anointed to get blessing 8882. Even if they beg, even if they offer more, even if they apologize, do not return to what I just pulled you out of. I will never send you into a deal where your spirit feels trapped. I will never lead you into an agreement where your identity gets hidden. I created you to rise, not shrink. You are not meant to carry the weight of other people's control. You are not built to be managed by hidden hands. I made you free. I wrote your story with clean lines, not tangled ones. Disagreement would have tangled you. It would have drained your light. That's why I'm so serious. That's why this warning came loud. Type I am protected to get the blessing 5943. You are wise to walk away. You are brave to say no. You are covered by angels who know your worth even when the world forgets. Michael didn't defend you because you were weak. He defended you because your calling is strong. Your purpose is too big for secret traps. Now stay close to me. The enemy will be quiet for a little while, but then he may come back with another offer. Don't fear it. Just stay in prayer. I will speak again. I will show you. And when the right door comes, you won't feel panic. You'll feel peace. And peace is how you'll know it's me. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 6285. The enemy chose this time carefully. He didn't come when you were strong. You waited until your heart was tired. He waited until you were worn out from all the delays. He waited until you started to question if I had forgotten you. That's when he showed up with something that looked like help. It was never random. The offer came at a time where your defenses were low. He knew you were waiting for my promise. So he created something that looked like my promise, but wasn't. The timing was meant to confuse you, so you'd think, maybe this is it. But it wasn't. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7771. You must understand this. The enemy doesn't need you to fall all at once. He just needs you to agree with one wrong thing. One wrong connection. One wrong contract. And that opens the door. That's why he tried to catch you off guard. He only needed one yes to begin pulling your destiny in the wrong direction. Archangel Michael saw this setup from the very beginning. He saw the strings attached to the deal. He saw what was hiding behind the numbers, behind the smiles, behind the fast promises. And he couldn't stay silent. That's why he stepped in. That's why this message exists. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 6432. The person on the other side of this agreement might not even know they were being used. That's how subtle this trap was. Sometimes, people are tools in the hands of darkness and don't realize it. Their heart may not be pure, but they are still unaware of how the enemy is using them. You weren't just dealing with a person. You were dealing with a spirit behind the person. That spirit knew how to twist things. It knew how to present false light. It studied your pain. It learned how to imitate the answers you prayed for. But it could never imitate my voice. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9144. You've grown in your ability to hear me. And that's why you caught it. That strange feeling in your chest, the little tug in your stomach, the voice that whispered something isn't right. All of that was me. I was speaking through your discomfort. I was revealing the truth without needing to shout. And you listened. You paused. You asked me. That one moment of hesitation saved you from years of spiritual struggle. That's what obedience looks like. That's what discernment sounds like. It doesn't always make sense at first, but it protects what matters. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 6929. You see, this wasn't just about this one deal. The enemy wanted to delay everything after it. Your relationships, your next move, your creative flow, even your spiritual gifts. One wrong agreement can do that. It creates a ripple that touches many areas. That's why I stepped in now, before the ripple could begin. You have something important to carry. Your voice matters. Your light affects others. That's why you've been under attack. That's why the trap looked so perfect. Because the enemy is afraid of what you're about to walk into. So he tried to offer you something almost right to keep you from what's truly right. Type I am protected to get the blessing 5686. Michael has fought for you before, but this was different. This time, he wasn't just fighting enemies. You were also fighting your own weariness. That's why this battle felt heavier. But now you see why. Now you see how close you came. Now you understand how much heaven has been protecting you in silence. Now, child, I want you to rest. I want you to shake off the pressure. I want you to breathe. You don't have to chase. You don't have to rush. I will lead you to what is yours. And when it comes, there will be no tension. No strings. No spiritual confusion. Just clarity, peace, and joy. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 6030. The enemy tried to make you feel calm at first. He wanted you to think it was a right path. That's why everything looked so smooth in the beginning. The agreement seemed fair. The words were kind. The timing felt close to perfect. But deep inside, something didn't feel right, and that was not by accident. False peace is dangerous. It makes you lower your guard. It makes you stop asking me for confirmation. It makes you right. That's what the enemy wanted. He wanted you to think, this feels good, so it must be God. But not everything that feels good is from me. Type I am rising to get the blessing 8412. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Real peace is the presence of me. And I wasn't in that deal. That's why your stomach felt tight even when your mind tried to move forward. Your spirit knew what your heart didn't want to admit. You were being pulled into something dangerous. Archangel Michael was already in place. He stood over your decision. He held back what was trying to rush in. He delayed their messages. He interrupted their plans. He created just enough space so that you could feel me. And in that pause, you began to see. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7221. The person who offered the deal knew how to speak your language. They knew your needs. They had studied your situation. They even said things that sounded spiritual. But it was not me. It was imitation. A shadow. An echo with no real light behind it. My child, the enemy often sends shadows right before the true light appears. He tries to get you to settle too soon. He wants you to stop walking right before your real blessing shows up. That's what this was. A counterfeit placed in your path to make you give up your position too early. Type I'm chosen to get the blessing 6906. You didn't miss anything by walking away. You avoided being tied to someone who didn't value your purpose. You escaped a connection that would have drained your soul slowly. At first, they would have praised you. Then, they would have pressed you. After that, they would have silenced you. It's how the enemy operates, step by step. But you are mine. I will not let you fall into a place that steals your voice. I placed too much inside of you. I've anointed you for too much ahead. You weren't created to fit into contracts that shrink you. You were created to carry a calling that expands through freedom. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7993. Your spirit is being trained to trust me deeply. You are growing stronger. You are learning to listen beyond what your eyes see. That's what maturity looks like. And I celebrate that growth. The angels rejoice every time you choose spiritual wisdom over fast results. Michael fought hard this time. Not because you were weak, but because what's ahead of you is valuable. The bigger the calling, the greater the attack. But heaven always wins. And this victory belongs to you. Because you obeyed. Because you listened. Because you stayed close to me. There is no shame in walking away from something others think you should have said yes to. There is only power. Real strength is found in restraint. Your no was a weapon. It broke the plan of darkness. It stopped the enemy from entering your future through a fake door. And now, I will open a real one. Not rushed. Not forced. Not covered in confusion. You will be full of peace. You won't have to guess. You'll just know. And when you step into it, everything in your spirit will say, yes, this is God. That moment is coming. Be ready. Top I am anointed to get blessing 9562. You didn't just avoid a mistake. You escaped a spiritual silence. If you had said yes to that agreement, your voice would have slowly faded. You would have still prayed, but you wouldn't feel me as clearly. You would have still worked hard, but nothing would move forward. The silence would have confused you. But I would have known why. The enemy wanted your voice. He didn't care about the contract. He didn't care about the deal. You wanted your sound, the sound of your prayers, your declarations, your worship, and your authority. If he could have your yes in the natural, he could use it to mute you in the spirit. Type I am rising to get the blessing 6842. There was a sound I put in you before you were born. A divine sound. A unique voice. And that voice shakes things in the spirit. It brings healing. It brings fire. It brings change. The enemy has heard it. He's tried to stop it before. But now he tried a new strategy, agreement. This wasn't about money. This wasn't about a job or an opportunity. It was about muting your spiritual influence. If he could tie your soul to the wrong people, your voice would lose its sharpness. Your fire would start to cool. Your direction would begin to blur. Top I am protected to get the blessing 7477. But child, you were sensitive. You paid attention to the nudge. You noticed the fog. You didn't run into it blindly. You stood still, and that pause gave Michael the space to fight for you. That's why you didn't move forward. That's why your peace broke just in time. They were already making plans without your full understanding. They were already drawing circles around your gifts. They weren't planning with you. They were planning to use you. But heaven interrupted, and the ink never dried. Because you listened. Because you waited. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7159. Some may ask why you walk away. You won't always be able to explain it. And you don't need to. Spiritual decisions don't always make sense to natural minds. What they call fear, I call wisdom. What they call delay, I call protection. And I will honor you for choosing me over man. Every time you choose obedience over approval, the heavens shift in your favor. Every time you say no to the wrong thing, you make room for the right one. I am not slow, beloved. I'm precise. I didn't let you miss your moment. I made sure you avoided the wrong one. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 7366. Your voice matters too much to be linked with people who don't value it. Your purpose is too large to be locked in hidden control. I won't let you give away your influence for a short-term gain. What I have for you requires freedom. Freedom to speak. Freedom to move. Freedom to be exactly who I called you to be. Now that you've passed this test, I'm about to increase your clarity. Your voice will grow louder in the spirit. Your discernment will grow sharper. You will notice traps more quickly. You will move with more confidence. And you will speak with a new level of authority because you trusted me in silence. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9620. Child, you must understand how dangerous this agreement really was. If you had signed it, you would have stepped into a season of delay. Things would look okay on the surface, but your spirit would feel stuck. You would feel like you were walking but never moving. That's because the agreement wasn't just natural, it was spiritual. You would have said yes to something I never wrote into your destiny. That yes would have canceled doors I had planned for you. That yes would have moved your name out of alignment with my timing. It may not have looked like a curse right away, but it would have made your purpose harder to carry. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7025. That's why Michael stood between your hand and the paper. He saw what your eyes couldn't. He saw demons waiting at the edge of the contract, ready to step in the moment you signed. They weren't loud. They didn't scream. They waited in silence. Because not all attacks come with noise and some come in stillness. This was one of those quiet traps. It wasn't screaming danger. It whispered comfort. It didn't show you pain. It promised progress. But the price of that progress was your peace. The cost of that opportunity was your voice. And you would have paid with joy, energy, and spiritual strength. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 7884. You were close to stepping into a binding that would have looked like blessing. The person who brought it may not even know how dark the roots really were. But the spirit behind it was sent to drain you. It was not sent to help you build. It was sent to delay the real thing I have prepared. You would have begun to question yourself. You would have started to ask why things felt heavy, why your prayers hit walls, why your sleep became broken. That's how spiritual bindings feel. Slowly, subtly. And then one day, you would have said, God, why does it feel like I've lost something? That's what I stepped in to stop. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 7740. You didn't miss a chance. You avoided a chain. You didn't lose an opportunity. You escaped the seven. I am proud of you for listening. I am proud of you for pausing. And even if others can't see it, heaven is rejoicing that you obeyed the warning, even when it was quiet. This is spiritual maturity. This is what growth looks like. You didn't need a storm to make you turn around. You heard my whisper, and you trusted it. That means you're not just hearing me, you're walking with me. And I bless that kind of faith. Type I am protected to get the blessing 6591. I want you to stay alert in the days ahead. The enemy may try again. Maybe not in the same way, but in a similar form. A different offer. A new person. A smoother voice. But now, your spirit is wiser. Your eyes are sharper. Your heart has learned what my peace feels like, and you will not be fooled again. Michael has gone ahead of you. He is clearing the road. The right opportunities will come, but they will not bring stress. They will bring rest. You won't feel confused. You feel confident. And when you say yes, heaven will confirm it with signs, with peace, and with open doors. Top I am anointed to get blessing 9870. Child, you may not realize this yet, but what you were about to sign had words meant to trap your future. It looked like a normal agreement. But in the spirit, it was an open gate for heaviness to enter your life. The words were smooth. The promises sounded sweet. With the paper carrying power. You see, in the natural world, people sign deals every day. But in the spirit world, words are doors. Agreements are bonds. Promises are paths. And this path was leading you away from everything I've been preparing for you. Slowly, quietly, but Julie. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7981. They wanted your yes, but not for your good. They wanted to use your gifts, your name, your light. They saw your potential, but they didn't see your heart. And they didn't care about your calling. What they saw was what they could gain from attaching themselves to you. This is why I sent warning. This is why Michael stood over the moment. Because one signature would have moved you off course. Not all at once. Not with loud chaos. But over time, by little choices, small delays, and subtle loss of joy. The paper was spiritual bay. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7644. Even the timing was planned. The offer came when you felt alone. It came when your faith felt quiet. The enemy wanted you to say yes out of fear, not faith. But I've been training your spirit. You're no longer the same person who once said yes to everything. You've grown. You now ask me before you move. You now sense my voice even when I whisper. That's why you paused. That's why something inside you said, wait. That was me. That was my spirit holding your hand, slowing your pace, protecting your peace. Type I'm chosen to get the blessing 7455. The person on the other side may come back. They may try again. But don't be fooled by new words. The spirit behind it hasn't changed. What they offered wasn't just a business deal. It was an exchange. Your future for their benefit. Your peace for their plan. But you didn't trade your purpose for pressure. You chose wisdom. You chose to wait for me. And that choice matters more than you know. Because now, heaven is aligning the right people, the right door, the right season. And when it arrives, there will be no pressure, only peace. I am protected to get the blessing 6823. You're no with a seed. It planted a future of freedom. You broke a cycle. You ended a pattern of being used. This is a new chapter. From this point forward, your decisions will be guided by discernment, not desperation. Your yes will only be given to what carries my spirit. Michael has written your name in a place the enemy cannot reach. Your voice has been restored. Your peace has been renewed. And what was almost stolen will now be multiplied. Get ready. What's coming next will prove why this test was necessary. I am anointed to get blessing 9188. If this message stirred something in you, if you now see the trap you almost walked into, then it's time to sow into what set you free. This word isn't just for you. It's part of a rescue mission. When you support this channel, you help carry prophetic truth into places where silence has ruled for too long. Heaven multiplies what you give. You're not donating. You're declaring. You're saying, I will not let others fall into what I escaped. I, the Lord, declare over you, you will be like a tree planted by rivers of water. Psalm 1:3, fruitful, strong, and unshakable. You can give through Super Thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description. This is your seed of protection. Release it in faith. You were just one moment away, one signature away, one yes away from entering something I never designed for you. That's how close it came. The enemy had everything set. He was watching, waiting, hoping you would move too fast. But I stopped it. I broke it. I interrupted it for your protection. That pause you felt was not hesitation. It was my spirit shouting quietly in your soul. You may not have heard words, but your peace suddenly disappeared. That was me speaking. That was me guarding you from stepping into something that would steal from you over time. I'm rising to get the blessing 7110. The paper you were about to sign had long-term consequences. It would have created invisible cords in the spirit. Those cords would have slowed you down. You would have still prayed. You would have still worshiped. But everything would feel heavier. That heaviness was part of the enemy's plan. This deal was never about the money. It was never about the position. It was always about influence. The enemy knows what's inside of you. He knows how your voice shakes the atmosphere. So he tried to use a quiet agreement to silence your sound. I am shielded to get the blessing 7279. The person you trusted wasn't completely honest. They said all the right things. They gave you promises. But their heart was not aligned with mine. They were serving their own vision, not yours. Their goal was to benefit from your gifts, not build with you. And that's why I had to stop it. I love you too much to let your future be stolen while you smile. You are my child. and I do not sit back while danger draws close. I send angels. I send delays. I even send this word, so you will stop, see, and step back. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 6633. Archangel Michael didn't just block what was coming. He also cleared what was behind it. He saw the chain reaction. He saw what this would have caused 3 months from now, 6 months, 1 year, and he cut it off before it can grow. You'll never know all that he stopped, but heaven recorded it. They'll say you walked away from a good thing. Let them talk. They don't know what I know. They didn't hear what I said to you. They didn't see the spirit behind it. You are not crazy. You are not fearful. You are protected. And this protection comes because you trust me above all. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7552. Your spiritual hearing is becoming stronger. You're learning to respond to the small signs. You're not waiting for disasters to get your attention. You're responding to the gentle hand of your Father. That's how I know you're ready for more. Because you don't need loud warnings anymore. My whisper is enough. You didn't lose time by walking away. You saved a time. You didn't miss a blessing. You avoided a storm. I can restore everything. I can open new doors. I can do it again, but this time with the right people, the right covering, and the right peace. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9344. This battle wasn't about paper. It was about purpose. The enemy didn't just want your agreement. He wanted your future. He knew the power you carry. He knew the lives you would touch. He knew the impact of your obedience. That's why he made the deal look perfect. But heaven saw what you couldn't. I sent my angel before you. Michael stepped into the place where your path was about to be changed. He didn't come to suggest. He came to fight. Because what was being planned in secret had to be broken in the spirit. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7681. Michael warred on your behalf. He didn't let confusion win. He cut the invisible ties. He tore the plans apart in the spirit realm before they could ever be finished in the natural. He moved with urgency. Because what you were about to walk into looked like success but carried sorrow. They weren't going to show their real intentions until it was too late. That's how the enemy works. He shows peace in the beginning but pain in the end. He uses excitement to blind discernment. But your spirit caught it. And heaven backed your pause with divine force. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7933. You'll never know how much was blocked. But one day you'll feel the freedom. You will see how light your spirit feels. You'll notice the ease. And that's when you'll understand what I rescued you from. The deal was coated in gold but filled with chains. You would have lost time, confidence, and clarity. I do not give in confusion. I do not bless through pressure. I do not lead through fear. I lead through peace. When something is right, your spirit will say yes, even when your mind doesn't understand. You will feel rest, not restlessness. That is my signature. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 6859. Even when you wanted to move forward, I made it feel difficult. I allowed small things to go wrong. I allowed certain people to go quiet. That wasn't failure, that was protection. Every delay was divine. Every closed door was a defense. Now you're walking in clean air. You're stepping into clarity. You may feel like things are quiet now, but that's because the noise was part of the trap. I've cleared the atmosphere. I've removed the voices that didn't speak for your future. And now I'm making room for what's truly yours. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7102. Don't go back to what I just saved you from. Don't return out of guilt, pressure, or fear. You've already passed the test. Let it go. I have better. I am more. And it's closer than you think. Your steps are ordered. Your story is protected. Your future is still fully intact. What was almost lost is now guarded. What was nearly broken is now safe. And what the enemy meant to bind you with has become your breakthrough moment. Because of one obedient pause, the path ahead is now open. Trust me. I'm still leading you. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9204. You prayed for open doors, and I heard you. You asked me for progress, and I listened. You even told me you would go wherever I send you. That's why I couldn't let you walk through this one. It wasn't from me. It was from the enemy, covered in light but filled with hidden darkness. Some traps don't feel like traps in the beginning. They feel like opportunity. They sound like success. They come with fast timelines and urgent voices. But I never move through panic. I always move through peace. What you almost walked into was a rushed agreement with a long cost. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7991. Michael didn't just see the surface. He saw the layers below it. He saw the conversations you didn't hear. He saw the spiritual contracts being formed without your knowledge. And he stood between you and the danger. That's why things fell apart. That's why everything slowed down. You may have felt disappointed, even confused. But now you're beginning to see the truth. The disappointment was your deliverance. The delay was your defense. I blocked what you couldn't see, and in doing so, I protected your future calling. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7190. You were not being tested to destroy you. You were being tested to develop you. I wanted to see if you could trust me even when everything looked right on the outside but felt wrong on the inside. And you did. You didn't rush. You didn't run. You paused. You prayed. That small moment of hesitation was a huge victory in the spirit. It gave heaven time to fight. It gave you space to hear me. It stopped the enemy's plan from locking into place. That's why obedience matters, even in the quiet moments. It shifts everything. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 7546. You are now standing on the other side of a trap that didn't catch you. That is something to celebrate. You didn't fall. You didn't hit stuff. You didn't lose yourself. You chose wisdom. And that choice will lead to real breakthrough. The kind that comes without regret. They may reach out again. They may try to fix the terms. But you don't need a better version of the wrong thing. You need my version. The one I wrote for you before time began. And that is still on the way. I will not be late. I will be perfect in timing. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7725. Yet walking forward with peace. I've cleared the land ahead. I'm preparing people who will honor you, not use you. I'm preparing doors that open because of faith, not force. You've passed the test. And now you will receive the reward, not from them, but from me. And when it comes, you'll know. You won't feel confusion. You won't feel rushed. You'll feel peace. And in that peace, you will hear my voice say, "This is the way. Walk in it." Until then, hold your position. You are safe. You are seen. You are still on schedule. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9438. Beloved, This was never going to be your final door. I allowed it to come to test your spirit, not to trap you. I wanted you to learn to hear me, not just follow the voices around you. And you passed the test. You felt the warning. You listened. And now, I am opening something better. You were tempted to accept less because you were tired. That's why the enemy moved now. He thought your delay would create desperation. But instead of giving up, you gave me your attention. Instead of signing too fast, you sought my face. That decision shifted everything. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7441. Some people thought you would always say yes. They assumed they could pressure you. But you have changed. You're no longer led by people's opinions. You're guided by my presence. You don't move unless I move. That kind of obedience carries power in the spirit. The deal you declined was never going to bless you. It was only going to bind you. It would have looked fine at first, but slowly, you would have felt the drain, the deadlines, the control, the spiritual fog. It would have grown heavier day by day, but I didn't let it go that far. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7592. Michael held the line. He drew his sword. He disrupted timelines. He stirred your emotions so you would ask questions. He scattered their plans. And he cleared the air around you. He protected your calling, your name, and your peace. That's why you feel lighter now. There are blessings coming to you because of what you refused. Yes, what you walked away from just opened up space for what I've been holding. I have favor stored for those who listen. I have opportunities waiting for the obedient. I have rest prepared for the ones who walk away from pressure. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 7856. Your no was louder than 100 yeses. It echoed in the spirit. It broke cycles from your past. You used to ignore that inner voice, but not anymore. This time, you obeyed, and that obedience became a seed, a holy seed, one that will grow into wisdom, promotion, and divine protection. Do not return to the deal. Do not entertain better versions of the same trap. If I didn't build the foundation, I won't bless the roof. Wait for what's truly from me. And when it comes, it will not require long explanation. It will feel right because it will be right. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7901. I know you feel like it's taking too long. But child, what I'm preparing is worth the wait. I'm building a door no man can close. I'm raising up voices who will help you, not use you. I'm placing you in safe territory. And every delay is making your discernment stronger. The next time something comes, you will see it clearly. You won't need 10 signs. You'll feel me in it. You'll sense my hand. And you will walk through the right door with confidence and peace. No fear. No confusion. Just my presence leading you all the way. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9672. There are moments in your life where your next decision changes everything. This was one of those moments. What looked like a small paper held a big shift. One wrong move could have pulled you into months, even years, of spiritual struggle. But you didn't move in fear. You waited for me. The enemy saw how close you were to breakthrough. That's why he rushed in with something shiny. He hoped the pressure would make you say yes. But child, pressure is not from me. Peace is. I don't rush your soul. I lead your steps. And your steps are guided by wisdom now. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 7626. This decision wasn't just about saying no. It was about saying yes to your calling. You said yes to being led by my spirit. You said yes to staying free. You said yes to choosing peace over promotion. You don't even know yet how powerful that moment was in the spirit. I watched you hold your peace. I watched you stay quiet instead of reacting. That's growth. That's maturity. That's strength. Others may have wondered why you didn't respond faster. But you were listening. And listening saved you. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7290. There is a reward coming for what you turned away from. You didn't chase after false gain. You didn't reach for empty favor. You stood still, even when standing still was hard. I will honor that. I will bless that. I will pour out more because you trusted me with less. Michael continues to walk ahead of you. He's preparing the right path. You won't have to force it. You won't have to guess. It will come with clear direction and deep peace. And when it arrives, you will know why I told you to wait. You will see why I said no to what looked good. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 7447. There is someone watching your life right now. They saw you pause. They saw you pray. They felt something shift when you didn't sign. And now, they are wondering what gave you such strength. What they don't know is this. It wasn't your strength. It was mine flowing through you. I am not just protecting you. I am using you. I am using this moment to train others around you. Your obedience is preaching. Your stillness is speaking. Your faith is shaking things loose in other people. You are setting an example without saying a word. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7568. Now I need you to stay in this posture. Stay prayerful. Stay watchful. Don't be surprised if another version of the same trap tries to come back. But this time, you'll see it clearer. You'll feel it quicker. You'll walk away faster. And you will feel guilty about it. You have passed through a narrow place. The pressure was real. But so was my presence. You didn't fall. You didn't fold. You stood. And because of that, the next door will be one that brings life, not confusion, hope, not heaviness, joy, not spiritual weight. Type I am anointed to get blessing 9257. At first, the trap looked safe. It had clean words. It had polite faces. It had numbers and titles that made sense. But you weren't looking with just your eyes. You were listening with your spirit. That's how you knew something was off. It didn't feel right. It didn't carry peace. Your mind tried to accept it, but your spirit didn't. That feeling wasn't anxiety. It was revelation. It was my spirit waking you up. I whispered, not this. Not now. Not here. And even when others pushed you to go forward, something inside you told you to pause. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7890. That pause saved you. It gave heaven time to step in. Michael had already seen what was hiding in the fine print. There were words in that agreement that would have handed over your future without you even knowing. They were small words, legal words, but spiritual chains were hiding inside them. That's how the enemy works. He hides big losses in small decisions. He knows that if you're tired enough, you'll agree to something that feels easier. But I love you too much to let that happen. I made sure the feeling in your spirit was strong enough to make you stop. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 7764. You didn't say no out of fear. You said no out of faith. You trusted me more than the offer. You believed my peace over their promises. That is powerful. That is maturity. That is what sets you apart. And I'm going to bless you for that. I don't just reward those who say yes. I reward those who know when to say no. Not every door is divine. Not every opportunity is sent from me. It takes spiritual wisdom to walk away from something others call a blessing. But you did it. And heaven took notice. I am chosen to get the blessing 7011. You didn't lose anything. What you turned down would have stolen more than it gave. You would have gained stress, confusion, and regret. And slowly, it would have made you question your own decisions. But now, you're walking in peace. And that peace is your confirmation that you chose correctly. Soon, I will show you what I was protecting you from. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But the truth always comes out. And when it does, you will look back and say, "Thank God I didn't sign. Thank God I waited. Thank God I listened." I am protected to get the blessing 7425. The enemy is upset that you heard me. He's frustrated that the plan didn't work. But I want you to know, you did not just avoid a bad agreement. You stopped a storm before it started. That's spiritual power. That's what happens when you let peace, not pressure, lead the way. You are still right on time. You didn't delay anything. You protected everything. The right offer will come. And when it does, it will feel like home to your spirit. You know. You won't have to ask 10 people. You will feel me in every part of it. And peace will guide your yes. I am anointed to get blessing 9115. My beloved child, you didn't just walk away from a dangerous deal. You walked into a turning point. You may not have seen the full picture yet, but heaven did. That one moment of listening, that one decision to wait, has changed the direction of your life. You didn't lose. You won. You didn't fall behind. You were placed ahead. Many thought you missed your chance. They looked at the paper, the person, the promise, and said, "Why didn't you take it?" But I was looking at your heart. I was watching your spirit. I was measuring your peace. You chose me instead of popularity. You chose discernment instead of speed. And I will never forget that. Michael was assigned to guard your decision because of what's connected to your future. What's coming for you is heavy with purpose. I couldn't allow you to be tied to anything that would limit that. A deal would have dimmed your voice. That agreement would have pulled you out of alignment. But your no became a sound in heaven that said, "I trust you, God." Now comes the shift. The real doors will start to open. Slowly at first. Widely. But then the confirmation will come. Someone will say something that feels like a whisper from me. An idea will drop into your heart that burns with peace. A path will appear where there wasn't one before. This time, it won't be rushed. This time, you won't feel confused. This time, it will be me. And when that moment comes, you won't have to beg me to confirm it. Your whole spirit will rise up and say, "Yes, this is the one I waited for." The oil will flow. The peace will stay. The door will open easily. Because I lead my children through peace, not panic. I speak through stillness, not pressure. I am proud of you. I am proud of how you've listened. I am proud of how you've matured. I am proud that you trusted my voice more than the world's pressure. What you almost signed would have caused silent spiritual damage. But now you are walking in freedom, in clarity, and in the rhythm of my spirit. This was your warning, but it also became your breakthrough. Type I am safe with God to get the blessing 7777. If this word helped protect your future, then hear me clearly. There are others still one step away from signing something dangerous. You can help me reach them. When you sow into this mission, you're not just supporting a video, you're helping light break through darkness. You're helping me pull someone else back from a silent trap. I said in Malachi 3:10, "Test me and see if I will not open the windows of heaven." And I am saying it again now. Your giving becomes a river, flowing protection, peace, and direction into someone else's life. So rise up and act. You super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description. This is holy ground. Plant your seed and expect divine harvest.